Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online, and in today's video I want to share with you guys something that I do at least once a week and sometimes also twice in a week, which is of course my trade trip to Jita. I often show you guys how you get loot out of exploration and things like that, and another part is of course you have to sell that loot, try to get some ISK and then buy new goodies with all of that stuff. And this is what I use for that. It's the Occator. We're also just about to jump into Energized, which is like a yellow system, 0.5, really a well-known system for ganking. This is where you have to be like a little bit more careful. You also often have bumpers that are waiting for you. You obviously, I think, have an Ibis scout here. It's probably just an alpha clone. Let's keep an eye on what is happening at this side of the gate, and then you can potentially have a ganking party on the other side, which is why I personally do love the Occator. It is really strongly tanked, and lucky for us, at this time of the day apparently no gank to be spotted or even a bumping ship on this one. I have an Afterburner here which speeds up my process in order to get into warp. If you're curious about the fit, I'll quickly show it. I also put it in the description of the video. So we've got a compact Afterburner. I think that was because of the time that it took, so it's rather quick turnover, and thus you get into warp a bit more quickly. We've got some medium shield extenders just for more HP, energized adaptive nanomembrane, 800mm steel plate, damage control, true Sansha adaptive nano plating, C-type energized explosive membrane, and C-type energized EM membrane here. I think Trimark armor pumps for more armor, which gives me 113,000 EHP. I think that's okay. It's definitely not great if they really want to gank me. I think that it is definitely possible to do so, but I usually do stay under the radar, I think, and I've never had any real problems with my Occator. Another thing that helps, I think, is of course the fact that it has this fleet hangar, which, if I'm not mistaken, you can't scan down, and so they never really know is this a worthy gank or not. And this is what I do then on this trip. I'm actually taking a little bit more because I'm doing some cleaning in what I have in Detail. But yeah, stuff like this mid-grade Slave Alpha comes from a Sansha Vigil. Lots of these not so good explosive platings, for instance, only worth 700,000 ISK. At some point you gotta move those as well, but we have some nice stuff as well, like a medium armor rep that's worth 109 million at this point. We've got a couple of remote armor reps as well, 59 million, not bad, and then some other small stuff, and a true Sansha warp scrambler, 105 million. Yeah, this is something that as I said, I do like at least once a week, and sometimes twice in a week as well. It does take a little bit of time, of course, traveling from Detail to Jita. You can tell that here. This is not the fastest ship either, so you need a little bit of time. And I usually do this one as well when I want to bring something back, which is normally fuel. I have a couple of viewers that have already contacted me as well. They produce fuel near Detail, and they're willing to give me a really good price on that, but this is part of my routine anyways, so I don't feel like you guys have to give up profits on fuel, because it's actually selling really well in and around Detail just for me. And honestly, I can actually import so much fuel myself, which I can buy 20k and sell at 24 to 25k in and around Detail, that this is actually also a profitable endeavor for me, and I don't really need you guys to do me any favors when it comes to the fueling. It's already part of my general play style in EVE Online. For the rest of the jumps, I'm a little bit less worried. You can clearly tell here that we are in 0.8 and 0.9, 1.0 system, so it's really hard to gank someone here, a lot harder unless you're super organized, so I don't expect that to happen. And we've got just a couple of jumps left until Jita, so let's just keep going. One eye on your overview, always do that so that you know, avoid real problems. But yeah, most valuables go in my fleet hangar, and then on this trip I'm also planning to get started on all of these blueprint copies that I've dropped for from, I think, the Rogue Drone event, which I still need to build. I thought I'd wait a little bit because, of course, during the event, everyone was getting these blueprint copies, everyone was producing these items as well, dropping the price. It's the same thing with the Blood Raider items. I still have a couple of really good ones, webs and scrams from the Blood Raiders. I'm holding off. I'm gonna wait a couple more months for those prices to renormalize so that I actually get some nice profits out of those drops here. And then some other stuff that drops as part of the exploration, of course, some Tech 1 stuff and things like that is needs to be cleaned up from time to time as well to make some room in detail. So off we go. A couple more jumps and then we're there. By the way, these are also the new gates. Can we spot these? Good God, they look really good. But I have to say that the jump gate, the Asbel jump gate for nullsec, is still a step up from these regular gates here in highsec, in my opinion. It's bigger. It's got this far bigger field. It makes a lot more sense. It really looks like something that could transport a freighter and then catapult it to the next system. Whereas on a gate like this, if you take a look at that, it looks a lot less likely for those really big ships, especially during heavy traffic, to be pushed through this smaller gate. Although, you know, all the graphics around it, they do look quite nice. And so here we go, perimeter, the final system before Jita. Also a place where you can get some really good deals on the player-owned trade hubs. Although from time to time those get contested as well. So the last search, for instance, was for a relic analyzer. And yeah, something like Tranquility Trading Tower. Obviously, that is a player-owned trade hub, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that, you know, there's usually like corporation names and things like that in the regular stations. And it's something to keep in mind, although you can also tell from all of these stations here, including the Keepstar. Ooh, that is actually nice. We're gonna take just a quick little break here to take a look at the first highsec Keepstar, if I'm not mistaken, in perimeter, which is the Tranquility Trading Tower. There you go. It's really an attempt, I think, to try and corner the player market here. And will it last? I don't know. If at some point that gets challenged, that could be very interesting. I myself still go to Jita 4.4 at this point, so let's dock up there. What do we have here in Para-Atron? Yeah, nothing that I'm too worried about at this point. And yeah, this is in my opinion worth it, especially if, as I've said, you don't do this too often. Going to Jita for the best prices. Not necessarily. So, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, it's not necessarily for the best prices. It's just for the size of the market. It's so that you can actually sell that stuff. Some of these faction pieces, like a true Sansha Warp Scrambler, I don't think you're going to sell that locally very quickly. There's not that many people that are going to look for these high-end faction pieces in more remote systems where there's like 10 people normally in local. This is Jita, this is Wall Street, 1500 people, tons of trades every single day, and this is where I bring my stuff. So we've got all of this. I put that in a separate container just to take a look at it later, and then from the fleet hangar, this is stuff that I do want to sell, so I put those in the item hangar, and then I just get started, right? Mid-grade Slave Alpha. Take a quick look at what's happening on the market for that one. Let's maybe make the market like that for this, in this case. So a little bit less than 31 million on the sellers, 27 million. I think here it's worth it to be a little bit patient. I do undercut a little bit, so I'm gonna try and sell this one for 30 million and one more zero. 500,000 disc. Give that 3 months. It doesn't cost you anything extra to list it for that much longer. Sell. And there we go, showing up there. Now, all of these small items that are not really worth more than 1 million ISK, like that one as well, I'm just going to sell those later as well. Don't feel like it's worth the effort right now. This one, 4.2 million for the buyers, 4.6 million for the sellers. That's one that I honestly just do an immediate on. that if difference is small enough. But here I think we're gonna get to the more interesting items. Look at that C-type medium armor rep valued at 109 million on average, now selling for 145 million ISK, and the buyers are coming in at 116. If you want to short trade, if you want that ISK pretty quickly, I tend to go for like 139 million. Put a 9 in there. Put that at 3 months, and you're pretty sure to get that ISK pretty damn quickly. You may also be noticing at this point, what the hell is all of this stuff? I think it's from a ship that I tried to build. Let's put that back here as well. That I'm still paying quite high taxes. I still have to work, actually, despite all my years in EVE Online, I still have to work on my reputation. Here again as well, 16 million for the sellers, 7.8 million for the buyers. I would even try 15.5 million. One more 0. Let's try to sell that. Next up we've got, whoa, that is crazy. I have to try this. I am going to undercut that a little bit, but we're not gonna try and crash the price too quickly. So let's put this one up for 59 million. That would be an extremely good sale, and this is why personally I also really love my exploration time at the moment. Some of these items with what's happening in the Abyss are going for crazy prices. 5.6 million. Here I actually give myself a low chance of actually selling that because of the lack of buyers. So don't be afraid to skip one either if you don't feel comfortable that you'll sell them very quickly. And here again, less than 1 million between sellers and buyers. For me, that is an immediate. Let's just sell that straight up here. 40 million ISK. Thank you very much. And there we go. In the pocket. And here we still have a true Sansha that is actually selling for a little bit less than what it would normally sell for. And that's another choice that you have to make. For me, I'm actually, I think, willing to wait, see if we can't push that. If we go for the price history, for instance, yeah, absolutely. See if we can't push that for 110, 115, at least 100 million plus should be possible. We're definitely at a low price range at the moment. Park that and see what you do with it later. Same thing with these items that I just happened to have brought as well on this single trip, and that is something that I do, as I've said, at least once a week. Second part here, of course, as well, the contracts business. I can put up 10 more contracts. My BPC production is not ready, but I have a separate container. Here is a lot of BPCs that I still have left, including quite a few of these. Raitaru blueprints, Athanor, and then we've got some of these as well. That puts us at 5 in total. And then we can just take storage, reprocessing, office, a medical, and a market. We'll put these in here as well. And then we've got stuff that I want to bring to these contracts. So you just find them in contracts. This is the way I do it, that by the way. Just press current station. That's where people usually filter on 3.89. So I'll try 3.5 just to really try and to move that inventory. As you can tell, I've got quite a bit of it left. So 3.5 million on this one. Let's see if that can sell. And I hope that this doesn't get reset. How long do they last? 4 weeks. Yeah, there we go. That's what we need. As long as possible. No reason not to do that. Then we'll take a look at the Athanor blueprint. So just press finding contracts. I go for Jita 4.4 only. 3 point. I can again try and sell that for 3.5 million. Mine are not really very researched. I've just been pumping them out so that I can try and recoup my costs. And then we have the Astros blueprints as well. Do a quick search of that. And I still have a couple for 1.4 million. And they're just not selling. For some reason, people are not interested in Astra Huses at the moment. So we'll just switch that out for a couple of these. One of these. Put that in the item hanger. And on this one, on these structure parts, I'm actually a little bit lazier. So I would say these are all 5 runs. If I sell them for 2.4 million, that's a pretty decent price, and then I don't need to do too much research. So I just put up 2.4 million, copy the price, and then I just keep going. This is, for me personally, how I plan to save a little bit of time. This way you basically have less than 500,000 ISK per run. I get a bit of profit out of that, not a lot anymore at that price, and you know, people know exactly what they are buying when it comes to these blueprint copies. I do try to diversify, try to not put up 5-6 contracts of the same item at the same time. That's just gonna help drive the price down. Showing the market how much supply you have is never a good idea, so I'm just going like this. Next one. Finish. Yep. Close. Create contracts on that. And then at this point, you know, if you want to make some investments, that is something that I could be doing here. I don't think I want to do any now. Or if you want to buy stuff, then that is something that you can do as well, of course. And for me, for instance, something that I do buy regularly, of course, go for the fuel blocks and just take the cheapest one. So look at that, helium fuel blocks dropping off a cliff, going for 19,900, 19,800 for hydrogen, 19,800 for nitrogen. That's 21. So yeah, the cheapest one, helium fuel blocks, and let's just buy these 2k here. Let's maybe add another 3,000 just because, well, they are below 20,000 ISK. That's actually pretty damn cheap fuel at the moment. I can easily put that in the fleet hangar. 62,500 cubic meters, plenty of room. And yeah, all I have to do now is basically see what else I want to buy. I am going to buy the resources for these 4 blueprint copies, bring that all back, start manufacturing that. And this is also an aspect of EVE Online that I like to do myself. You can do all of this stuff with contracts if you want, or try and sell it locally. It takes more time, but it's definitely possible, and you can often get a better price. But for me, yeah, those weekly trade trips are part of my experience in EVE Online. And for me, this ship here, the Occator, is absolutely a great ship for that task. 60k in the fleet hangar is plenty of room. Stuff like freighters and things like that, I would only use if my brother's online as well, to scout out what's happening on the gates, because you are a big target with a freighter. And I would only use that on an actual move operation or something like that, where we really need all the room we can get. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys on this video. A little bit of a trade trip to Jita, something that I regularly do, just to give you guys a bit of an idea on how I sell all the loot that I get from mostly my exploration experience. PI, for instance, about every month or so, I do the exact same thing, of course, put all of that PI in the fleet markets, grab a couple extra 100 million ISK. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you next time.